Hi. Hi to everyone who is tuning in for the very first time. I am the Gold Coast Queenslander girl. Today I want to take the opportunity to talk about something that I don't generally make it a point to talk about. I am comfortable with the fact that this happened, and I'm comfortable with the fact telling people that it happened quite clearly. I'm here. But what I'm not happy about doing is mentioning all the nitty and the gritties, which I may not do today, but I may do today. And I took this opportunity because there's no one in my household that is here. And I did actually want to eventually do a video on this subject. I'm just going to put some 4 oil on my lips. So, I'm hoping that it doesn't take me an hour to talk about this, but it's probably going to take at least 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So, you know, grab your cup of tea. Don't spill it for God's sake, because you don't want to have to go and refill your cup. When I was around 11 or 12, and I think it's closer to the age of 12, I was molested. And I wasn't molested by a family member. And I know that because I've seen a psychiatrist, I've had hypnotherapy done, I've spoken to many psychologists about it, and they all agree that yes, what happened to me was an actual event that happened. It wasn't something that was a figment of my imagination. And generally these type of things that happen are not a figment of someone's imagination. So, yes, I said the words. I was molested. Not by my brothers, not by my parents, but by a friend of my brother's. He was much older, definitely not bloody wiser, not to have done what he's done. Towards the end of the event, like when it stopped, before that, I'd realised through a psychiatrist that he was actually grooming me for sex then. It's very lucky that I was able to, at that age, to somehow get myself out of the situation. So when it would happen was when everyone was asleep in bed, or when my mother was at work and my father had to go pick up my mother from work and I was left at home with this person. That's when it happened. It was usually myself touching his private parts, penis, and it was him that would also touch my private parts, my vagina and my clitoris. I'd also had started towards the end, as I said, he was grooming me for penetration, but towards the end I was putting his penis in my mouth, and obviously he was doing things to myself. Now when we were at home by ourselves, we play hide and seek, and when if he found me, then the consequences were molestation. He used to touch me, and I'm not going to lie, I have to be truthful. When he did touch my clitoris, I enjoyed it. It was a nice feeling. So generally, I sort of just accepted it, especially with that feeling. I know now what I didn't know then. So I know now, but I didn't know it then. I didn't actually ever orgasm. Usually I broke away from the game and I said, I don't want to play it anymore. It's yucky. I don't want to play it anymore. It's not nice. You're not a nice person. I can even distinctly remembering writing out Christmas cards, and I even wrote him one. However, I ripped it up in the end and put it in the bin. These are the type of things. So basically, if he slept over because he was with my brother and they had a late night, he would crash on the lounge. He'd have a blanket. He'd sneak into my room. He'd go, come here, come here. Everyone else was asleep. I would go underneath this blanket, and I was told to put my mouth around his penis, but in actual fact, I can distinctly remember licking it first. I didn't know what it was like. It scared me, to be honest with you. I didn't even know what sex was all about at that stage. I had no idea. I can't remember. I mean, look, I was told that it was around 12 years of age. And with all the medication I'm on at the moment, I can't go back to why I remembered it was 12 years of age. So when my father went to pick up my mother, that's when it occurred. I didn't hate it at first. I was starting to enjoy it, but he was starting to scare me because he started to get his fingers closer to my vagina hole. And although I liked the feeling of the clitoris being touched, it scared me to think that something was going to go in or up down there. I'd fallen on a bike once, and as a kid I used to call it my Mickey, and I hurt my Mickey. Didn't bleed or anything like that, but my mother took me to the doctors because I fell off the bike and it was sore. So the doctor said it was going to, be bruised. I know that was before this event occurred. It's not even a long story. I mean, it's taken me 8 minutes and I have probably listed most of it. I mean, when we played hide and seek, it was generally me that had to hide and he was to find me. And the consequence of finding me was that we played a game of sexual orientation, if you can call it that, where he introduced me to his very small penis, I can remember. And I remember it did get hard, didn't grow much bigger, that's for sure. And that's what I know in hindsight now. And so as I said, I'd either have to put his penis in my mouth. I don't remember either sucking or anything like that. It was just a little bit of a tongue on the outside, putting it in my mouth. That's what I thought I had to do. That's what he told me to do. And then he would rub my fanny, starting over my pants. That's why I hate the word today, panties, because he used to use it. That word, I hate the word panties, just like some people hate the word C-U-N-T. I can't say it. I'll be demonetized. I haven't even got more than 1 subscriber. I have 4 subscribers. Anyway, so we'd be under the sheet on the lounge. Generally, this is either when my dad was picking up my mum from work, the boys weren't home. He was there. I can't remember why he was even there. I think he must have been waiting for my brothers, obviously, quite clearly, to come home from where they were coming home from. So, yeah, so they were the events. My father went to pick up my mother. He would touch me through my underpants or on top of my pants to start with. Towards the end, and I think it must have gone on for maybe, I've never really known the time. I've never really known, but I know I was still in primary school. I know that because my mother caught me with a boy that we used to babysit that was a little bit younger than myself, a couple of years younger than me. And we were caught sort of fondling each other type of thing. And today I even feel uncomfortable saying that. You know, my doctor said it was nature, but you know, it's nature when you discover yourself. It's not nature when you discover someone else. Yeah, I can't remember too much of that. I know that it was both were in it together type of thing. It wasn't that I didn't like it or he didn't like it. He certainly didn't ever push me to do anything. But that was that little game. But the thing with this person who molested me, and he knows who he is, and I just hope to God that he doesn't do it to his kids, because he would be at that age, and he would have been at the age at the time that he was molesting me of child rearing age. So that's it. That's just the story of my molestation, and there's not really a great lot to tell. That was it. And I guess the ending, what brought this to an end, was that I put my foot down as a child, and I said to my dad every time he went to pick up my mother from work, "No, Dad, I'm coming with you for now on. I want to come with you to pick up Mum for now on from work." She used to finish in the evenings, and she was a nurse, so he used to go pick her up. And I said, no, Dad, I'm coming with you, so hold your horses. I'll be just right with you. And then I'd go with him. And in the end, it just all stopped. He still came around. I was never around him. When he came around, I always avoided him. If he even suggested, I know a couple of mornings he came to my door, he opened it, and he went, you know, come here. And I went, no. Or I pretend I was asleep. I can remember even one day him tapping me on the shoulder, and I've gone with my head. And then it never continued. But the thing is, it did happen, and I applaud anyone else out there that feels the need to tell your story. Tell your story. Tell the world. You don't have to tell people who you are. You don't have to tell the people who they were. I'm not. That's why I'm the GCQLDR girl, because none of my husband's family can find me. None of my own family can find me, and I can tell whatever stories I like, providing they're true and not you know, non-fiction. They're fiction. So non-fiction is true and fiction is false. I think that's the case. Well, true stories. So that's my story. And if you are out there today and you are a child who has a YouTube page and you are being molested, tell someone. I told the man that I married at the age of 21 what had happened to me. And I can tell you now that, well, I'll say no more, but I told him. I trusted him. I loved him. I didn't want to tell my parents because, for starters, there were things said, there were threats made, and those threats were, you know, if you tell your parents, you know, it'll look bad on you because you let me do it. So they won't think I'm the bad guy here. They'll think that, you know, you're the bad guy because you've allowed it to happen. Yeah, I was a child. Yes, it was nice at some stages because that's what the clitoris does for a woman, and God gave her that for that reason. But not without marriage and not to a child, that's for sure. So if you're someone out there who has been molested, I applaud you to see someone. Doesn't have to be your family, can be your doctor, can be a friend at school, can be your a caseworker, anyone, your school teacher would be the perfect person to tell, because they would bring in the authorities. You could even go and talk to a priest. If you didn't want anything to happen to this person, and the only reason why I never spoke up at the time is, I think I told you, because he threatened me, but also because my parents' marriage was terrible as it is, and I didn't want them to have this on their conscience, and the first thing they do would have blamed themselves, and there was no way I was going to have that. Go into a church, tell your pastor, your minister, anyone. You don't even have to be religious. Go to the confessional box, Catholic confessional box, tell a priest. They can help you, and they will help you through it. But please don't sit there being scared. Don't let it continue to happen. If you don't want it to happen, you're just a child. But if you're an adult, come out and tell the world. Don't have to mention any names. Come out and tell the world. I don't regret telling my story. I was extremely nervous at the very beginning of this video. And no one is home except for Bambi. And she ain't going to be telling anyone too soon. You like my hair, by the way? Candace on YouTube, she does her hair on the side. So I thought, you know what? I've got a much fatter face, but I'll give it a go. So again, girls, guys, whoever you are being molested, don't be afraid to say or ask for help, okay? Get the help you need. As I said, my GP sent me to a psychiatrist because clinically I had to know whether it was the truth or not, or whether I was imagining it. It was true. I then went to a hypnotist who brought back my memory. And over the years, I've spoken with a psychologist. I can now talk to strangers about it. I'm here, aren't I? I'm here. So I'm not ashamed that I enjoyed it at that stage in my life, because your clitoris is very sensitive. It's a very sensitive organ on your body. God bless him, he gave it to a woman so that we could enjoy marital relationships. I think that's all I've got to say on the matter. I really wanted to express this because I don't want you out there who's being molested to continue being molested, when I know in your heart you don't want to be. You don't want it to continue to happen. And if you do, well, I think you need help anyway, especially with underage stuff like this happening to your body. I love you all. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please ding dong that little notification bell. I've got 4 lovely subscribers at the moment. I haven't checked this morning to see if I've got any more. I'm really hoping that this video will bring some YouTubers my way. So here's praying. God bless you all. Hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and we will chat again very soon.